Folks, happy Sunday. Happy week 1 of the NFL Sunday. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. Obviously, we had the teaser with the Bills Rams on Thursday night. It delivered for me, at least. Maybe not my co-host here, Stevie, but it's so good to have the NFL season back and be gambling on it. I know I keep saying on it. Bills was amazing, made a bunch of money, but tomorrow, all day, no stress about the Bills to worry about, just to get to enjoy a full slate of NFL football for the first time in 9 months, 8 months? It's crazy. I can't wait for it. Stevie, how are we doing?
We're doing a little better now. Because there's more football games to look forward to. We got a full slate of Sunday NFL action. And you know what, MereKat? It was an embarrassing performance for my Rams. They got crushed. I mean, it wasn't, even though it was tied at halftime, the Bills dominated that game from start to finish. So you know what? If they're going to get crushed, have it be on a Thursday. Let me be miserable on Friday and Saturday. And you know what? Let's get a full slate of Sunday, a clean slate. We got Red Zone channel going on the big TV because there's no Bills or Rams this weekend for me. I'm going to have multiple games going. And MereKat, there's a ton of free money on the board. There's so many games to bet on. And let's not forget, we have books now, finally. This is the first week 1 in New York where we have books at opening day. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. It's going to be player props galore. We're going to have maybe some teasers, some underdogs barking. We'll see. We're fading the public in week 1, of course. But, MereKat, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. And just so everybody knows, we're recording this Saturday around 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. We want to chill Sunday. We already said that. So we're just going to air this tomorrow. Lines might move around a little bit, but we're locking them in. But we got them today. We just got back from Cooperstown. Had a little event to do yesterday. So we're a little tired, but we're ready to go. I need to wake up before this first pick. Let's go. Woo! Let's go. All right, my first pick of the day, I'm going with a player prop. Stevie, you know how much I love young receivers the past 2 years.
Yes.
The past 2 draft classes of receivers have been absolutely incredible. So I'm going to bet on one right off the rip. Amon-Ra St. Brown over 59.5 receiving yards. Just an absolutely disrespectful line here. He's the clear number 1 receiver in this offense until Jameson Williams comes back. Not a lot more going on. Jared Goff built a great relationship with him last year.
Yes, he did.
He had, down the stretch, he had at least 8 catches and at least 10 targets in the final 6 games of the season. With the final 4 games, he went 90, 91, 111, and 109 with a touchdown in each of them. He's got a great relationship with Goff. He had a great rookie year. He's just built on it. He's got a lot of momentum heading into this season. And then, even though, they took Jameson Williams, he's still not playing. So it's all right. Amon-Ra St. Brown, the sun god, he's going to have a day tomorrow, I think. And I'm a little worried about the matchup with, Slay and Bradbury in the secondary there. But the number's just way too low. He's going to get double-digit targets in this game. 60 yards. Love it.
I'll give my first receiving prop, and I love this guy as well. It's actually his 3rd year in the league. I'm going Deontay Johnson over 48.5 yards, MereKat. I love Deontay Johnson. I've loved this guy all off season long. I think I have him in 9 of my 10 fantasy drafts this year. I am all in on Deontay Johnson, and I know he was dealing with a little shoulder injury in the preseason, but he has no injury designation going into week 1. They said he's going to be a full go. And guess what? He's still just getting slept on, disrespected by everyone. Deontay Johnson was 2nd in the NFL in targets last year, MereKat. He was 2nd to only Cooper Kupp, who was the only bright spot for me on Thursday night, to only Cooper Kupp with 173 targets. He's going to get peppered. He runs those QB-friendly routes. And everyone's saying Pittsburgh is having a massive QB downgrade. What are we talking about here? Big Ben was awful last year. Now you go to Trubisky, who loves the QB-friendly routes. He loves the underneath. He loves the safe routes. You've got Chase Claypool's the other receiver who's competing for targets. He's just a big play guy who will get his when he gets his. And then you have a rookie in George Pickens. And I know he had a great preseason, but he's a rookie. It will take him a few games to get situated. I love Deontay Johnson. They're going up against the Bengals. I think it's going to be a close game. I know the Bengals blew out the Steelers twice last year, but I think it's going to be a close game. And Deontay only played in one of those games. 14 targets, 9 catches, 95 yards. Deontay Johnson went over 48.5 receiving yards in 13 of the 16 games he played last year. You don't find a percentage like that where you have a player prop set at that number. It is ridiculous. This is something where I'd be looking at alternate lines as well. 48.5 is so disrespectful for a guy I think is going to get double-digit targets and who's explosive after the catch. I love Deontay Johnson over 48.5 at minus 110. I mean, come on now. That line was so disrespectful. I got upset over it. Before I put my bet in, I got upset. I was like, I don't want to bet this because I'm so mad.
That's how I felt about them on Raw, honestly. And I love that one with Deontay Johnson. Been a big fan of him for the past few years, especially in fantasy. But next up, got to bring it back. New NFL season, same MereKat. We got a little sicko teaser. We got a little sicko under teaser here. We're going Patriots, Dolphins under 51.5. Bucks, Cowboys under 57.5 teaser. Pretty much at even money there, minus 102. I had to do it. I like the under in the Patriots Dolphins straight up, but let's give ourselves a little insurance here. The Dolphins, it's going to take their time for their offense to come together. If Tua is that guy, even, Tyreek Hill adjusting with Jalen Waddle, they're going to be decent, but they're going to take some time. I think they're going to take a little bit. And the Patriots are going to take even longer to get going this season. I think they have a ton of new pieces coming in on that offense. Mac Jones coming in this year, but with more instability at his, play calling, the offensive play calling position than there's ever been. The whole offseason was not a good positive sign for the Patriots. With that, I think they might run it 40 times. The only constant in that offense is Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson. So I think this is kind of just a messy type game. And then with the Bucks Cowboys, the over handle is disgusting. We said we got to fade the public pretty hard this week in certain spots. And Stevie, there is 60% of the bets on the over in this game. With less than 10% of the handle.
Wow. Wow.
That's the DraftKings numbers. But it's absolutely ridiculous. The Cowboys are a bit sketchy. The Cowboys look so good on paper all the time, but they lost some valuable pieces, especially offensive line. There's going to be question marks. Dak, I've just never bought into the guy. He'll have a few games every year. He'll throw for 400 yards here and there. And it's cool, but win. Yeah. And Brady's sad. Brady's sad. We have a sad Tom Brady, and a sad Tom Brady. We're gonna see it for the first time ever, pretty much. Because Brady's dealing with some stuff. We won't get into it. But the offense, too, a lot of injuries. I think they have 2 offensive line starters out. Chris Godwin, not ready to go. And I just don't think this is going to be, a giant shootout. I think people are just see Cowboys, see Buccaneers on paper, and are like, oh, there's going to be 80 points scored in this game.
Yeah, no, I actually kind of like that too because I think the Cowboys have a lot of new faces. They lost Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup's hurt, and it's just one of those things where you lose Tyron Smith. That's their offense with him and without him is drastically different. It's crazy, and the Bucks, they worry me a little bit because it is Brady, and I could be worried Brady comes out and just has a huge week. What he could do, but let's not forget. They're dealing with some injuries too. We are right. It is a sad Brady. We've never seen a sad Brady before. And Leonard Fournette's 600 pounds. So it's going to be hard for them to run the ball. So I kind of like it. I mean, you're fading the public, and I kind of like the under in that game already.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I like the under both of them straight up, but I had to sicko tease or something.
So I'll give you my teaser, and it's kind of a pinch your nose, gross teaser because I'm taking 2 AFC North teams here, and I'm doing something I hate doing, but I'm teasing basically to a money line. I'm taking the Ravens money line against the Jets, and then I'm teasing the Steelers up to plus 12.5 against the Bengals. Listen, I know the Steelers got waxed last year against the Bengals. They got blown out twice. But in the past 25 years, that was the only time the only time the Steelers lost by more than 10 points to the Bengals. It happened twice, and they're going to be ready. Their defense is healthy. They can expose the worst part of the Bengals offense, which is that offensive line. And I think the Bengals will be good. But as we saw with the Rams, MereKat, there is a Super Bowl hangover. It happens to the winning team. It happens to the losing team, but more so to the team that lost the Super Bowl. You see that team miss the playoffs more than likely the following year. You see that team get rusty. And I like this Steelers roster. I think they have a great defense. I think they have a very good offense in terms of the weapons. And Mitch Trubisky just has to be better. Just has to be better than Ben Roethlisberger last year. And guess who he was learning behind, MereKat? Your beloved Josh Allen, who right now people are saying is the best quarterback in the NFL. And I don't really think you can argue it right now. So learning behind him is great. You have all these QB-friendly weapons, right? Deontay Johnson, I talked about him earlier. He runs those underneath routes. You have Najee Harris, who's going to get 25 touches, and it won't matter. Freiermuth's a great QB-friendly receiver. Claypool and Pickens, they are big targets. And Trubisky can run a little bit himself too. I think the Steelers, Bengals, they always play these tight, physical, big rivalry games. Steelers just got waxed twice last year for the first time in, like I said, our lifetime. So I think they're going to come back. I think it's going to be a close game. I like them as dogs, but I'll tease them up to 12.5. And then on the other side, Ravens money line. We've said this the past couple seasons. Ravens beat bad teams. The Jets, they may have a lot of these flashy new weapons. You know, I love Garrett Wilson. They were really big on Breece Hall. Elijah Moore's getting a lot of hype this year, but Joe Flacco's the quarterback. And if anyone knows how to beat Joe Flacco, it's his former team, the Baltimore Ravens, who are now healthy on defense, who added Kyle Hamilton this year. Rashad Bateman is a full goal and is a healthy number one receiver, which they need. Mark Andrews, you've got the rookie tight end Isaiah Likely, and oh, by the way, Lamar Jackson's healthy, and when he's healthy, he's 37-12 as a starting quarterback in the NFL. I think the Ravens pound the Jets this week. I think they kill them. I think they crush them. But you know what? Instead of just laying the points and instead of just taking the Steelers, which I probably will do both of those as straight plays on their own, I'm giving out a teaser here. Ravens money line, Steelers plus 12.5, and play it like a straight play. It's minus 109. Just play it like a straight play. Throw whatever you want on it. I love that teaser.
Yeah, I like that too. I might be having something with the Ravens coming up, but I got another teaser next. I'm teasing a lot this week because it's week 1, and I'm a little scared of just what's going to happen because every week 1, every beginning of the season, we see a lot of surprises. A lot of teams come out of nowhere. We see some upsets here and there, but I do know I love to fade the public, and I'm also a little scared how much I love some dogs this week. I like a lot of dogs this week. So
they barking? Are they barking?
The dogs are. I think the dogs are barking, but I'm kind of scared. I don't know if I should give them a treat yet, take them straight up, or if I should tease them. So we're teasing them just to be safe. I'll toss the treat over the fence. You don't get the belly rubs yet, dogs, but that's coming. You got to prove it to me. So we're going with the Bears plus 12.5, and then the Texans plus 14.5. And that's plus money. Plus money.
I like it. It's two teams that I think are in everyone's eliminator pool, right? The 49ers and the Colts. And everyone's just counting out both these teams. And what do we see week 1, MereKat? We see a dog that no one picks.
Yep,
plays really well.
That's exactly it. I'm fading the public here, even though it's not like a crazy fade on the money there. But Trey Lance, I do like him. I like Trey Lance as a prospect, but the hype is way too crazy right now for a dude who gets all the Josh Allen comparisons. People forget it took Josh Allen 3 seasons to become what he is now. It takes time for a guy like that to develop in the NFL. He barely saw the field last year, and it was good to have that rest year, I guess, learn whatever, get a few things here and there and adjust to the NFL speed. Coming from North Dakota State, and it's just like, why is the hype this crazy? I know he's getting the Josh Allen comparisons here and there, but like I said, it took Josh Allen a while to become who he is, and I love Justin Fields coming into this season. I liked what I saw at the end of last year from him. He flashed a lot. Loved what I saw in the preseason, even though that's preseason, and I think this offense I want to see what Justin Fields can do. Especially new play callers around him and stuff, and the over under is so low that it's just projected to be an absolute shit show. So 12.5 is more than enough points, and I do like the Bears enough. I think I'm probably gonna just sprinkle a little bit here on the money line. I don't hate it. I think the Bears are in a big upset spot week 1. And then Texans, I love my Texans, but I don't love the Colts. I love Frank Reich.
Mm-hmm.
The Colts this year, I'm not sold on. I'm just not sold on them. I'm kind of lower on the Colts than people. We've talked about it when we were going over futures. And then the Texans I love the Texans this year, not to make some noise, but within the NFC South, I guess, yeah, they can make a little noise. And I like them to, not be the worst team in the AFC South. Sorry, I think I said NFC South. And plus 14.5. It's a lot of points. So I like this. 2 dogs not getting respected by the public at all. I think going against teams that are being way overhyped, getting all these points at plus money.
Yeah, that's 2 dogs I kind of like too, and I think you brought up some really good points, right? Trey Lance is someone we really haven't seen yet in a big situation. He is the guy now, and it may take a little bit of time, and everyone's just writing off Fields. I don't understand it. He had so much hype going into his rookie year. Now everyone's writing him off. And then Colts Texans, you know how I feel about divisional games in the first week. I always think it's going to be a little close. I'm a little more worried on that one just because of what the Colts did last year. They just ran the ball down the Texans' throat, Jonathan Taylor, and that's really it might not be too hard to replicate, but I do like the Texans for this year. If you guys saw our preseason show, we were both big on the Texans over win totals, so I expect them to be in the game. I like that teaser. It's definitely a tough teaser for some people to get behind because it is 2 teams that are probably going to be in the bottom 10 of the NFL against 2 teams that everyone loves this year. So you saw it. I think it was 26% had the Niners as their eliminator pick. Then he had another 18% on the Colts.
Disgusting.
Yeah. All right. So I am going to go with I'll go with my only straight spread pick this week. We had the teaser. I'm going with my only straight spread pick. It's the Chargers -3.5. And this is a team, MereKat, as you know. I had Herbert MVP. I had Chargers division. I've been putting Chargers division in every one of my futures. I love the Chargers team this year. And they're playing a Raiders team that, if people don't remember, that was the reason the Chargers didn't make the playoffs. It was, they called the timeout. The Raiders kicked the field goal. They didn't tie to both go. And then you have the Chargers sitting on their couch. And Justin Herbert remembers that. And if you want to talk about good young quarterbacks, everyone's been talking about Josh Allen, including us. We've been talking about Josh Allen for a long, long time. And everyone's talking about all these other young quarterbacks. Burrow got all the hype last year, but Justin Herbert is a damn good quarterback. Threw for over 5,000 yards last year. He's a mobile quarterback. He can make plays. And this Raiders defense, I just don't think is very special. I like the Chargers' weapons. I really like Eckler. I like Mike Williams. I like Keenan Allen. I think Josh Palmer takes a big leap this year. The Chargers did what they needed to do this offseason. They added to the offensive line 2 key additions to the offensive line, which is only going to help Herbert. And now you have a defense that added Khalil Mack. And the biggest thing about the Chargers defense is outside of J.C. Jackson, who may miss the first couple weeks, they're all healthy. You have Bosa's healthy. You have Derwin James is healthy. And you have a healthy Khalil Mack. That's terrifying. You're playing a Raiders team that I know they added Devontae Adams was the big splash this year, and Derek Carr and Adams are close. But I'm not really too excited about this offense outside of that. I don't really love the running backs. The offensive line's okay, but I think the Chargers are almost in a revenge game spot where the Raiders got us to go to the playoffs, and it was their own fault. Calling the timeout, Staley, I don't know what you're thinking. I don't know what you're doing there. Just tie and both go to the playoffs, but he didn't. Wanted to try to get the ball back win, I guess. Raiders win the game. This is Chargers revenge. This is for them to make a statement. Chiefs lost a lot of parts. You see the Broncos bringing Russell Wilson. It's going to be a war in the AFC West. The Chargers have to make a statement, and I think they do week 1. And I also love this number at -3.5, MereKat, because what does everyone think their minds? The public's on the Raiders, and they're thinking 3.5. They always play field goal games. It's always close games. I'll just take the points. I think this line was intentionally set at 3.5, so I will happily lay the -3.5, and I'm going to take the Chargers. I think they win this game probably more closer to 10 points than 3. I love them this year, and I think it starts week 1.
I like the Chargers. I love the Chargers. I love Justin Herbert. You know that. But I think the Raiders are so sneaky this year, and that's one of those week one plays where I want to see how that game plays out specifically. And I don't even think I'm going to put money on it just because I'm terrified. Because I like the Raiders heading in this year. I think they have a chance to win that division. And I really like the Chargers, though, and I don't want my bias to get in the way. But I'm going to go with a disgusting pick. I'm going to put my NFL hat on. This is just NFL MereKat.
Uh-oh.
The Jacksonville Jaguars plus 2.5 even money. And I don't hate the money line at all. I wanted to take the money line at plus 130, but if they're going to give us this little 2.5 little hook here for even money still, I'll take it. I believe in the Jacksonville Jaguars. I like Trevor Lawrence heading into this year. I like Doug Peterson taking over. I like Travis Etienne coming back. And I really don't like the Washington Commanders heading into this year. We are going to see Trevor Lawrence without the stink of Urban Meyer for the first time ever. And we're just getting the corpse of Carson Wentz, who even Frank Reich couldn't remove the stink from him. So I don't think, Ron Rivera is going to be able to there. I just think Trevor Lawrence is going to take a huge step this year. You saw how much money they invest in that offense. Massive deal to Christian Kirk there. They make a move. They sign Brandon Sheriff. They signed Evan Engram, who I'm convincing myself every year can be an all-pro level receiver just because of his athleticism. But he was stuck in New York for so long with Danny Dimes and dealing with so many injuries. Could this be the breakout year? I want to believe so for him. So they have a pretty good offensive line. They have a good crop of receivers. Kirk, obviously. Marvin Jones is just Mr. Reliable. And Zay Jones, we like to make fun of him. He didn't have the best Buffalo career, but he's been solid. And that's not a bad number 3 option there. It's a quarterback-friendly number 3 option. ETN obviously heavily involved with that passing game, and James Robinson still able to carry the ball. And Trayvon Walker, adding a guy like that to your defense. We'll see how it pans out right off the bat. But he's an exciting person, that you can start to build the defense around with Josh Allen, not our Josh Allen, obviously. And their secondary is kind of underrated there. So I just have absolutely no faith in the Washington Commanders. The Jags are very healthy, too. Washington's got some guys who are banged up. Logan Thomas might not play. Gotta go with the Jaguars here, plus 2.5 at even money.
I like it, and I'm taking a Jaguar. I told you about this one earlier. I'm taking Trevor Lawrence, and no, I'm not taking his passing. I'm taking his rushing. Trevor Lawrence over 16.5 rushing yards at minus 110. He rushed over 17 yards 11 times last year, and that was in the dysfunction system that was the Jacksonville Jaguars. That was in the offense that was terrible. And Washington, they may not be a great team, but they got pretty good pass rush. Montez Sweat, Jonathan Allen, Darren Payne. They are going to get some rushes on Lawrence, and he's a mobile quarterback. He is a good quarterback. He can run can run out of the pocket. We've seen him do it at Clemson. He didn't do it too much in Jacksonville, but I think he'll take a big step in terms of rushing this year as well. I love Trevor Lawrence. Like you said, I think he's going to in for a big year too. And I think part of a big year too is to implement a rushing game as well as his passing game. Yes, he's got a lot of new weapons, but I don't think it's anyone he really has good, chemistry with yet besides Travis Etienne, because they played together at Clemson. But I think it's new faces. So I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be more, inclined to tuck it and run on certain plays. And if he does that, I think it's very easy for him to get over 16.5 yards. His new coach, Doug Peterson, he lets his quarterbacks run. He let Carson Wentz run when he was the coach of the Eagles, and Wentz averaged over 4 attempts per game. He averaged right around 16 yards a game. And let's face it, Trevor Lawrence, a much more mobile quarterback than Carson Wentz. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to find these holes. He's going to get a lot of rushes here, and I think he's going to be able to easily get over 16.5. Last year, he averaged 19.6 on just 4.5 attempts a game. So if you give me, say, 5 attempts for Trevor Lawrence, and all he has to do is run for 4 yards each time to get to this number, sign up for that all day, MereKat. Trevor Lawrence over 16.5 rushing yards.
Yeah, then the way the NFL's trending too, and just offenses in general, Doug Peterson's utilized it a ton. where just mobile quarterbacking, as much as possible here and there. And Trevor Lawrence is capable of that. He showed that last year. You said super underrated. People didn't really realize it. That's true. They think of him as just like a pocket passer, the general public, it feels like. But my last play, hate to do this. I didn't want to take any favorites today. You saw me to take the Jags. I'm teasing up all these underdogs and stuff, just forcing it so I don't have to take the favorites. But I don't see either of these teams losing tomorrow. You already hit on one. The Baltimore Ravens money line against the New York Jets, and this one makes me sick. But I think people are way too high on the Cardinals, so I'm putting the Ravens with the Chiefs money line. That's a minus 118. It's not the best value, but I'll take it. And parlay fodder 125 and up. That's my line. So we're okay taking the minus 118 with the favorites. Watch, this play is gonna bite me in the ass because I'm going against everything I believe in right now. But they're not really huge public plays at all. Like I said, the people like the Cardinals, especially early in the season and coming into this year, which I don't understand. And the Ravens, their money, they had a lot of money on them, a lot of that handle, but it's public and sharp money. It's just everyone. It's like the Bills. Yeah. It's just like, okay, everybody's on these guys. And I like the Ravens. You hit pretty much everything, I would say, but Lamar Jackson pissed about the contract situation. We saw that they couldn't come to an agreement. He's got time to just take out his frustration and absolutely shit on the New York Jets. Their defense isn't great. And the most important this thing is that they're healthy. The Ravens last year, the worst injury luck in like NFL history. They're fully healthy coming in this year, and you absolutely love to see it. The New York Jets, on the other hand, their offensive line just sucks. Very bad, especially with no Becton. And the Ravens were the number one defense against the run last year, and it feels like with Flacco at quarterback, the Jets are going to try to rely on that run with Breece Hall, who I'm not a fan of, and Michael Carter, who I am a fan of. But with that offensive line against this healthy Ravens defense, who battered last year, still number one against the run, the Jets are going to be stifled. And then when it comes to the Chiefs, Mahomes is one of those guys you just don't want to bet against until they give you a reason not to. I just said that about Alabama earlier today. That is not looking great for me. But I don't know. I like the Chiefs. They made enough moves, even though they lost Tyreek Hill, Juju, Marquez Valdez-Scantling coming in. You draft Sky Moore. It's enough there with Mecole Hardman, who I still love. Travis Kelce's obviously going to be the number one. We'll see how that offensive line holds up and the defense. But my favorite draft pick of the draft might have been them stealing Trent McDuffie from us, because I'm confident if they didn't, trade up and to go to that 23rd spot or whatever and take him, that we would. I think that was our pick. They said Kyrie Elam was the last first-round grade they had on the board. I feel like they felt like McDuffie was going to fall in their laps, and he was another one maybe. So I just like that move for the Chiefs a lot, and I don't see these teams losing.
Yeah, the only thing I will say, and this is coming from a Rams fan that hates the Cardinals more than anyone, their best football is in the first 4 or 5 games of the year.
But they have no Rondale Moore. No DeAndre Hopkins, probably no Zach Ertz, and their offensive line, they're missing one starter for sure, maybe two.
Trust me, you don't have to talk me into exactly. You don't have to talk me into fading the Cardinals or picking against them. I will be rooting for the day when Cliff Kingsbury gets fired by Arizona, because it's going to happen. He's not a good football coach. But I will just say, it just feels like the first couple games just seem scripted. They have all these flashy weapons, explosive offense, Kyler running around. So I get a little weary of fading the Cardinals the first couple weeks. Just feels like they always start the year, and because they're frauds every year, MereKat. They're frauds. I'll say the word right now. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid to say the word. The Cardinals are frauds, but they always do start off the year with a couple wins where everyone buys into them, and then they have to prove they're frauds again. So that's why I'm a little weary on that one. But like I said, the Chiefs having a lot of different parts too. Sometimes there's just a little bit of rust. Yeah. Sometimes a little bit of rust. And I know
there's going to be adjustments with some of these teams for sure, but it's Patrick Mahomes over everything and Travis Kelce.
Yeah. No, and that's true too. If there's anyone who can overcome having a basically completely new receiving core, it's going to be Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to talk you out of it. I'm just scared to bet against the Cardinals.
I'm terrified of this pick. Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of people like the Cardinals this week too, which gives me a little confidence, because it's like, all right, people are believing in the Chiefs. I know the Chiefs started out a little rough last year, but they're still the Chiefs, man. They still beat the Bills in the playoffs. They're the team who moved on out of that divisional round, not us, and they're good. Just
MereKat?
losing, the loss of Tyreek Hill,
Yeah.
I don't think is devastating.
No, and I don't think it is. And like I said, they don't have to be amazing to beat the Cardinals week one.
Yeah.
They really don't have to be. I just always get worried because, like I said, every year I hear the same story. I know the Cardinals are good. They're going to be so great. But you're right. There are a lot of injuries on the Cardinals side as well.
Yeah, like who's he throwing the ball to?
Yeah. Hollywood, his COD buddy.
It's just Hollywood. And Hollywood, I'm not a fan of. I love young receivers.
All right.
And he never made my young receiver list.
Chiefs do give up the big play over the top, though, and that's where Hollywood will thrive. If he does get a couple, it'll probably be
Duffy's
big
gonna
plays.
bully his ass right off the rip.
All right, I'm gonna give my
Close
last
it out,
pitch here,
Steve. Let's go.
I don't even want to explain this one because this line made me throw up. It was so disrespectful. DJ Moore over 60.5 receiving yards. I am so mad at what this line was set at. DJ Moore is one of the most underrated receivers in the NFL. He's one of the best receivers after the catch in the NFL. And this is a guy who's had some of the worst quarterback situations his entire career, and he's just overcame it. 78.5 receiving yards per game 3 years ago, 79.5, and then last year 68.5 with Sam Darnold and a bunch of blah the entire year. I love DJ Moore here. He started off last year with bad quarterbacks, 6 of his 7 games over 73 yards. He just needs to get over 60.5 yards for this week. They're facing the Browns in a revenge spot for his new quarterback, Baker, who, as you know, was very adamant about playing the Browns. I think Baker is an emotional player. He's going to play with a chip on his shoulder. And how do you beat your former team? You have to use your best weapons. DJ Moore is by far and away their best receiver. I know Christian McCaffrey is healthy besides his shin injury, a little cut.
That's nearly devastating.
Besides that injury, and I almost wanted to say Panthers money line was my pick here, but you know what? I'm probably going to take both. But DJ Moore over 60.5 because I think Baker's going to pepper him. DJ Moore last year, MereKat, 163 targets. 163 targets. That's up there with the guys like Cooper Kupp, Deontay Johnson, Justin Jefferson, and he just doesn't get talked about like any of these other wideouts because he doesn't score touchdowns. Well, guess what? He doesn't need to score touchdowns for receiving prop. I think we're going to see him to 10 to 12 targets in this game, and I think very well he could get 100 yards. I'm taking him over 60.5. This is probably my favorite line on the board. I know the Browns have an all right defense, but there's so much crap going down in Cleveland this offseason. Give me DJ Moore over 60.5. And I'm going to take the Panthers money line too. But the official pick is DJ Moore over 60.5 receiving yards.
Yeah, we both love the Panthers heading into this year with Baker. I believe in them. And I don't love Matt Rule, but we still believe in the Panthers to outperform expectation. What's their win total at? 6.5?
Yeah.
Something vile.
Smash it.
Yeah, smashed it. Yeah. Absolute hammer. But that does it for our picks, guys. We're going to sweep the board. No, we're not. I'm getting a little crazy with some of my picks this week, but it's week 1. I got to get it out of the way. We got to feel things out, and I'm just excited to watch football.
I can't wait.
I can't wait to like throw down live bets and stuff too. Like we're gonna see some prime opportunities tomorrow with some of these matchups we have because things are gonna go weird, I think. But that'll do it. We hope you guys enjoyed. We hope you tail and win some free money with us. If we lose, we hope you didn't tail.
We hope you fade. If we lose, we hope you fade.
Yeah, we hope you fade. Honestly, fade me. Every pick. Fade all of these picks so that either you win a lot of money or I win a lot of money. It's a win-win, guys. So just fade all my picks today. Let's go. But Stevie, thank you for joining me. This is MereKat, and we are out.